Right, May, tell us a little bit about yourself and what.
I'm sorry. It's insane.
Do this, are we?
Right. Okay. You want to know a little bit about me? Right. Sorry. I work as a filmmaker.
I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh. I work as a director and cameraman, and I make documentary films for various channels.
I've worked in telly for a good few years and worked in lots and lots of different projects. Lots of arts projects, lots of projects with young people. Last year won about ballet school in Birmingham for young people, so this was quite a change.
Okay. Were there any challenges you had to overcome when making the documentary, and how did you get around them?
One of the main challenges was getting people to talk to us, and how do you ask a person how they feel in those sort of dark situations? It was incredible. I think we both felt straight away that the families trusted the support workers, the support practitioners, so much that we were accepted as under their wing, if you like. And it goes to show how much trust the families have got in Ty Hafan, really. And once the families started to open up, it was quite an interesting process, because it's almost as if they don't want to talk about it, but once they begin, it all comes out, and it's a privilege. Amazing people, every one of them, no matter what hell they were going through, were just so open and so friendly, and I don't know, there's something about the atmosphere that's created here, that people feel safe and unthreatened, and they're happy to talk.
I'll ask this, but if you don't want to answer it, don't worry. You encountered some sensitive situations whilst making the documentary, I'm sure. Were there any times you were unsure about how to proceed?
I think there were a lot of times where we practically weren't sure how to deal with the situation while we were filming, because quite often we were at a point where some extremely personal things were happening to families, and it was a very fine line between intruding into that sort of environment and just respecting their needs, but we also had to tell the story of what they were going through, and hopefully we didn't overstep that mark. We just followed the guidance of the staff here, really, because they seem so used to dealing with these sort of situations that they've learnt how to comfort people in those situations, and how best to deal with things, and therefore we could just kind of follow their lead.
Ty Hafan has evolved over years to cater for the individual needs of each unique family. Were you surprised to be filming so much outside the hospice? But I will add here that I think that this is what you wanted, isn't it? You wanted to be showing life in the family home just as much as life here. It's
about like dispelling a myth, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the stereotypical image of a hospice is that it's a building, like a hospital, that people come to maybe and then don't leave, but obviously that's not the truth of the matter. When it comes to Ty Hafan, there's an awful lot that goes on in people's homes, and it was important that we used elements of that and captured that aspect, I think, of Ty Hafan.
I had no idea before starting with Ty Hafan what a children's hospice was. I just thought, like most people, that it was all about end of life. And just blown away the minute I walked in through the door. It was all about happy times and making the most of life while those children were still alive, but preparing those families for the more difficult times, I guess. And we spent most of our time during the filming with families at home rather than in Ty Hafan. And if the documentary shows anyone what a hospice isn't, you know, it's not about dark corridors and death. It's more about making the most of life and dealing with the situations that arise. Hopefully that's the message that'll come from the film.
Okay, go on to the next one then. What is your most enduring memory about your time working with the Ty Hafan families and staff?
Oh God.
I think my most enduring memory is probably quite a serious one, actually, and it's to do with the fact that the hospice. What I find really interesting is there's two sides to it, and those two sides kind of merge together seamlessly. There can be some really awful, tragic scenario unfolding down one end of the hospice, and at the other there's a birthday party or something happening in the grounds, or and I think it's that kind of all of human life in one building, I think, being played out at the same time. I think I'll always remember that.
Mei?
Well, someone said to me during the filming that Ty Hafan has to be experienced to be understood, and I can understand what they're saying, because there's a really unique atmosphere to the place that when you come in through that door the first time, it's as if the staff and most of the families leave everyday trivial things behind and they just concentrate on making this a fun environment. And it's not one specific thing, it's kind of a melting pot of positivity in a strange way, where you'd think most people are very sad and depressed. The atmosphere lifts everyone, and I think there's a feeling here of everyone looking out for each other, and be it the family or the staff, and to be a part of that atmosphere is quite unique, really. I've never felt that anywhere else anyway.
Both of you, if you could sum up Ty Hafan in a word, what would it be?
Non-judgmental.
Okay. Mei?
God.
Don't worry.
Does it have to be a word? Can it be? Well, it's kind of, if I had to sum up Ty Hafan, I would say it's the best aspects of humanity.
Okay.
And that